Well, the NFL draft is upon us, and that means another crop of Buckeyes on Sunday are on the way. Hello, everyone. Dom Tiberi here, and thanks for joining us for our breakdown of how many Buckeyes we think will be going in the first round.
Over the next hour, we are going to take you through everything you'd need to know with all those Ohio State players waiting to hear their name called from Thursday to Saturday.
Yeah, no question about it. We're talking about 5 Buckeyes that will be making the trip to Pittsburgh. Coming up on this show, we will hear from each one of those Buckeyes. Plus, we'll hear from Coach Ryan Day, Coach Matt Patricia, and we're just getting started.
Here are those 5 guys that will make the trip over. The linebacker duo of Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. You know they're going to be a top 10 pick. Plus, Caleb Downs. He's expected to be the first safety taken in this class. Carnell Tate continuing that success of Zone 6. And then the breakout star for the Buckeyes this year, Kayden McDonald, an All-American season, making an amazing impact. Those 5 guys could make history for Ohio State. For more on that, let's send it over to the third member of our team, Nicole Sheeran.
The words developed here are all over the Woody. These guys come to Columbus, are developed to be Buckeyes, and then developed to be difference makers in the NFL. And one thing's for sure, if you want to be playing football on Sunday, you come to Ohio State. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. The Buckeyes currently hold the record for all-time first-round picks at 95. And under head coach Ryan Day, 50 Buckeyes are now playing on Sundays. And history has a chance to be made on Thursday in Pittsburgh. If 5 guys hear their name called Thursday night, that would tie the record for most Buckeyes off the board in the first round. C.J. Stroud was the last Buckeye taken in the top 2, and this year, there's a world where 4 Buckeyes are off the board in the top 10. But again, that's why you come to Ohio State, to not only win national titles in Columbus, but then play football in the National Football League.
Thanks a lot, Nicole. One of the first Buckeyes we expect to see go off the board, a linebacker, Sonny Styles. The Pickerington Central product had an amazing honor of wearing the Block O for the Buckeyes this past season. He can also call himself a national champion. And after an amazing performance at the Combine, his stock has pushed him to a top 5 level. Adam King caught up with Styles to talk about the process.
Sonny, your draft stock since you walked off the field in Dallas has skyrocketed. People are talking about a top 5 pick, top 3 pick. How have you handled all of that going out through the last couple months?
Yeah, just controlling what I can control. You know, what's being said isn't really anything that can affect me. So just continue to be myself, get ready to play some football, and just be patient. You know, someone's going to get you, and then once they get you, just go to work.
Everything's done now leading up to the draft. What does this next month look like for you as you wait for Pittsburgh?
Yeah, just be here training, getting ready for rookie minicamp and getting ready for OTAs. Trying to work on my game a little bit, working a few things in drills that I know I can get better at.
We saw you talking a little bit with John Harbaugh. Have you talked to a few teams, and how has that gone for you?
Yeah, talked to a few teams. I mean, the coaches are awesome. It's awesome to go in there. Like, when you're at the Combine, go in there, talk some ball, talk about yourself, learn about them a little bit. Like Coach Harbaugh was talking about, like, him and his brother and that relationship, and I was talking about me and my brother and our relationship. So, you know, be able to build those connections with all these different coaches, and like, you don't know who you're going to get drafted to, but you never know also who you're going to play for in the future. So it's just awesome to build connections.
How much has Matt Patricia helped you kind of get ready for this moment? We've seen him kind of coach all of you guys up through all this.
Yeah, awesome. He's been awesome. You know, obviously during the season, just helping us become smarter football players. But then even like when we left, like he was still getting on Zooms with us, getting us ready for these meetings. You know, obviously he sat in these meetings, he asked questions in these meetings, so he knows what that's going to look like. So he really helped us a whole bunch with that, and then getting guys ready for pro day as well. So he's been a great help. When
you look at yourself, what makes you a number 1 pick or a top 5 pick in the NFL draft?
You know, I don't know if I mean, I would talk about who I am as a person. I think that starts it. You know, I think great man. I'm going to be consistent, and I love football. You know, I think that means a lot. You know, I think sometimes you get in the NFL, that can be a lost art. And, you know, I love the game. And then I think when you look at me as a player, I think I'm a versatile player that can do a lot on the field and bring a lot to a defense and help a defensive coordinator, you know, have another chess piece on the board.
All right, for you, the idea of walking on that stage in Pittsburgh, what would that mean to you and your whole family?
Yeah, it's a dream come true. You know, I remember being a little kid, thinking about that, thinking about walking across the stage, hugging the commissioner, and you know, rolling the back of my door. I was like, I'm gonna be an NFL player, and that was kind of what I pictured when I was a little kid. So it's a dream come true for me.
Amazing. Are you gonna go to Pittsburgh?
If I get invited, I'm gonna go. Yes, sir.
And then How much has your dad helped you through this process? I mean, it's not often you have someone like that that can help lead you all the way up to drafting.
Yeah, he's been a huge help. Obviously played in the league, knows what it's like. So just giving little nuggets here and there. He's been an awesome resource my entire career here. So it's no different now. He's just been awesome.
You went from 10 TV Athlete of the Week, which I'm sure is the biggest accomplishment of your career, and now you're getting ready to be an NFL player. Sonny, how excited are you for what's to come here?
Yeah, just super blessed. Been blessed with great ability, blessed with a great family. Went to a great high school, came to a great university. So now I'm blessed to go play in the NFL. So just trying to maximize my blessings each and every day.
All right, Bobby Carpenter, Sonny Styles. And let me just say this. You talk about a guy that has really developed. Ryan Day prides himself on developing these guys, and you see what he came in as and what he looks like now. And the show that he put on at the Combine was absolutely amazing. I mean, the athleticism, I'm predicting this guy's going to be a star linebacker at the next level.
Well, you watched him come in. Obviously, he has the famous last name, and people love the pedigree. His father played in the NFL. His brother played at Ohio State, played at Notre Dame before this. And I got a chance to watch him at Pickerington Central and watch him go from a kid that was 6'1", probably about 170 pounds, 175 as a freshman, growing into this guy now who's 6'4", 245 pounds, who you saw his speed, you saw his athleticism. He ran a 4.4. He is a guy who played defensive back the entirety of his career until 2 years ago, and so only has 2 years at linebacker. First year you saw him develop. Last year you really got to see him shine. And I think that's what a lot of NFL coaches saw when they looked at him. It's a true off-the-ball linebacker, incredibly intelligent, understands the scheme, unbelievable human being, can direct traffic for you, can be a leader in your locker room, and on top of that, plays the run really, really well, showed great physicality, but also he has those coverage skills from playing defensive back for really the entirety of his career.
Is he a guy that is going to flourish in the NFL? And how much are they going to look and say, look at what this kid did under Matt Patricia, and who ran a pro scheme at Ohio State?
And learning this scheme under Matt Patricia, it's a scheme that I played in. It's a scheme that you've seen prevalent around the NFL. It's very complicated. A lot of calls have to go back on the linebacker. You have to make sure you understand what you're trying to accomplish on each and every play. You've got to know the scouting report inside and out. And Sonny Styles blew it away in the interviews. Everybody thought the guy was a rock star, but it's no surprise given his family. People see that, and that's why they love the pedigree and they love that football lineage, because they understand that you know what it takes to play the game and how to compete at the highest level.
As you mentioned, relatively new to the linebacker position, came in as a defensive back, and he's anything but a defensive back now. Do NFL teams look at that and say, oh, man, this guy's just or are there question marks?
Well, I think they saw plenty last year. There's always the question of when you move from defensive, the backfield, up to the linebacker position, how physical will you be? And I think watching, especially the last 3 games, when you look at Michigan, Indiana, and then Miami, what he put on tape, the plays that he was out there, how physical he was in the run game, how explosive he was as a tackler. And those are 3 teams that are all very, very talented. He answered all the questions. I think people are going to be very excited when they get Sonny Styles.
Another guy that had a breakout year this past season, linebacker Arvell Reese. Boy, this guy has it all. Size, 6'4", 243 pounds. How about the speed? 4.46 in the 40-yard dash. And this is a smart football player, folks, who has a nose for the ball, and he can get to the ball in a hurry and in a bad mood. He's projected as a top 5 pick. Our Nicole Sheeran had a chance to go one-on-one with Arvell.
You've gone through it all at the Combine in Indy. You just went through workouts here. How are you feeling after all that?
I'm feeling good. I feel like now I could just finally focus on football stuff. We're getting closer to football, so I'm just ready to work on football stuff. Everything to do with my craft, from the linebacker position, the edge position, I'm just ready to work now.
Arvell, if an NFL coach was watching this, what is it about you and your ability to be a top 3 pick off the board? What would you want to tell those coaches about what you're going to bring to the table?
I think the biggest thing I'm going to bring is a high level of violence. I pride myself in just, football has to be violent, especially with my position. I have to be violent. And it got to be a high level of violence. So that's the biggest thing. I'm bringing a high level of violence and intensity for sure.
Aaron Glenn, Jets head coach, was pretty locked in on your workouts here. Have you talked to him at all, and what have the conversations been like with some of those coaches?
Yeah, I talked to him plenty of times. And, conversation with the coaches, it depends on whatever coach I'm talking to. But with Coach Glenn, it's been more just getting to know each other, just seeing what type of guy I was, and, just him showing me what type of guy he was.
There's a world where 4 Buckeyes could be off the board in the top 10. What does that just show about Ohio State?
That just shows how disciplined our players is, I think. Because I feel like everybody who is considered top picks, I feel like we all bought into the program, trusted the program first day we got in, and just put our heads down and work. Like, I can speak for all 3 of those guys, them great guys. But, nothing is promised. We haven't got drafted yet. But as of right now, it's just hopefully it happens.
Arvell, how much have you leaned on a guy like Matt Patricia, who obviously has NFL coaching experience? How much have you leaned on him during this process?
I've leaned on him a lot. I mean, he's been a GM, he's been a head coach. He knows what GMs and head coaches, DCs are looking for. You just leaning on him a lot, and I learned so much from him. It's his defense. I didn't realize how much I learned from him until I got on the board and got to doing it myself, or looking over film and realizing, damn, I learned so much from Coach P. And that's just on and off the field. Off the field, he's a great guy. He's getting to know everybody, whether you're on the defense or not. He's going to get to know you. He's just a great guy on and off the field. So, yeah, I leaned on him a lot during this process.
And what is that going to feel like when that moment comes for you and you hear your name called in Pittsburgh?
I don't know, because I never experienced it. So I'm guessing it's going to be exciting. Well, I know it's going to be exciting, but I don't know how my emotions going to be. So I never experienced nothing like that. Probably, might drop a tear or two, but you never know. Yeah.
And just kind of last one for you. How does it feel to kind of get to live through all this with your guys, with your Buckeyes, a guy like Sonny Styles? You guys are kind of living in this together.
Yeah. It feels good because, like I said, these guys that I met my first day in, just seeing the work that they put in, seeing all the stuff Sonny done been through. Sonny done been through a lot. And that's the same with a bunch of guys, just seeing how a bunch of us just prevailed and just stayed disciplined, trusted the program, put our heads down and work. It's amazing. It feels good.
Well, Bobby, Carpenter's every Buckeye's dream to play in the NFL. Let's start with Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese really had a breakout season this past year for Ohio State at linebacker. Where do you see him going in the draft, and will he be the first Buckeye off the board?
From what I've been hearing, I think that there's a good possibility he ends up being that first Buckeye off the board and potentially the first defensive player overall. I know that there's a lot of love there with the Jets with him, and potentially if he falls past there, I know that there's a couple other teams that I've heard that have looked at coming up to that 3 spot, potentially a trade with Arizona. I think that he's the first Buckeye that goes. His length, his athleticism, his ability to play on the ball, which everybody loves, and then also to play off the ball and to be able to make plays in space. He's a really great human being. Very raw still. Only played 3 years here at Ohio State and only played linebacker the last 2 seasons. So there's a lot of upside, a lot of room for improvement. So people are very excited about him.
We saw this kid work out at the NFL Combine. We saw him at Pro Day up at Ohio State. This guy certainly passes the look test, Bobby.
Absolutely. He's everything that you want when you look at a linebacker, whether it's on the ball, on the edge, or off the ball. 6'4", 245. He has a frame that is still going to be capable of adding weight. He ran a 4.48, I believe, at the NFL Combine. And so, like I said, he can rush the passer. He can also play off the ball. And he also everybody has said that he's been blowing it away in meetings, as many of the Ohio State players have.
Let me ask you this, because you talk about the football IQ. This guy certainly flourished under a guy like Matt Patricia, who basically is an NFL coach now at Ohio State. As the scouts and the NFL teams look at the way he performed for Patricia, and it was a breakout year under him, how much does that have them biting to get this kid?
I think that's one of the themes you're going to see with a lot of these Ohio State defenders is now that they're in this scheme with Matt Patricia and they realize it's an NFL scheme, people can look at it, they understand what they're doing, they're running NFL concepts, it's very complicated, there's a lot of communication, but you watch that skill development, I think everybody's seeing that, hey, this will be a very smooth transition because people want to know when they're drafting you high, top 10, can you come in and contribute right away? And that's going to be the expectation. And after playing in a Matt Patricia defense, Arvell Reese has proven, I think, that he can do that.
Well, from an NFL linebacker of Bobby Carpenter to a Super Bowl winning head coach, everyone around the NFL knows just how talented this Buckeye defense is. John Gruden has been in those draft rooms trying to decide which college player to make the next NFL star. I talked with him about these Buckeye defenders.
Unbelievable. I mean, what they did on the field, at the combine, they aced the interview process. You know, it'll be interesting to see Sonny Styles playing linebacker. He converts from safety. His speed, playmaking is going to be ideal for the NFL. And Arvell Reese, you know, what is he? I mean, he can play linebacker, he can play on the ball and rush the passer. Some defensive coach with a great imagination will take those two players. And if you really want a great coach on the field, you got to take Caleb Downs, the safety. He's like, I was down talking to him earlier. He's like talking to Ronnie a lot. He looks like, you know, every second. All he thinks about is football. He's got a great presence that you got to have to be a great safety, and I just can't imagine those three guys not being lottery picks. And the big defensive tackle for a 20-year-old kid, good God, he looks like Vince Wilfork back in the day. So they all benefited by playing for Matt Patricia and being Buckeyes, but they'll go high and they'll be a prize possession for some NFL team.
If you have aspirations to play in the NFL, why would you go anywhere else other than Ohio State? Ryan Day does it the best here. The slogan, developed here, shown every day. Think about it. Day was an NFL coach. His two coordinators, and Matt Patricia and Arthur Smith, were NFL head coaches. The Buckeyes not only attract the best talent there is, but they do a great job of developing. Dom Tiberi had a chance to talk to head coach Ryan Day.
It's funny because a lot of the guys say, you know, you should be proud because of the type of people that you bring into this program and how you guys do things. And so it is good because, you know, we kind of live in our cocoon. We go home and we come to the Woody and we don't really get a chance to see everybody. But to, you know, be around such a distinguished group of NFL personnel, you got GMs, you got presidents, coaches, head coaches, all the above, and they just talk a little bit about their experience and what they see from our program from the outside. It is good. It makes you, you know, want to get back up early in the morning, get back to work.
You know, the other thing, 17 guys working out, but 5 of them look to be first-round picks. I mean, I don't think many programs can tout what you guys have done.
Well, I think the thing that is remarkable about all of it is the fact that they're all really juniors. And Mick and I, someone's going to probably point this out, you know, now, but like I think it's either 18 or 19 guys since we've been here has been drafted in the first or second, or maybe not drafted in the first round, but they came out as juniors. 19 in 7 years, and maybe it's 8 years, but it's close. It's right in there. So I think it speaks to the fact that our development, you know, and how we do things, it starts in a weight room, but then it goes to our coaches, and then it's just, you know, what you have to be when you're a Buckeye. You know, you have to sit up a little straighter. You have to handle yourself a little bit different. You got to wake up a little earlier. You know, you got to stay a little later. All those things. And these guys are used to playing in front of the big lights. You know, they're used to, you know, being held to high standards, and so they can handle themselves when they walk into an organization with high expectations the right way. And these guys are looking for guys that are going to be the face of their university. And so it's bittersweet seeing guys get drafted in the first round who are juniors, but the fact that they're juniors and not coming back for their senior year is one of those things that is tough because, you know, you'd love to see them come back, but they're absolutely all doing the right thing, and we're happy for them.
Last thing, and, you know, the world of NIL and the transfer portal and everything, and I know I might be biased, I'm sure you are, but if you want to play in the NFL, why would you go anywhere other than Ohio State?
Maybe you want it easier. I don't know, because it's hard here. And I think we set the expectation that it's going to be hard here. But if that's what you want, you got to think big and you got to think different. And if that's the way you're wired, though, this is the place for you.
Carnell Tate looks to be the next great receiver to come out of Ohio State. He, too, had a breakout year with the Buckeyes this past season. Tate is considered by most to be the most NFL-ready receiver in this year's draft. Playing alongside Jeremiah Smith, Tate did not miss a beat when he was on the field. He had a knack for getting open and making the spectacular grab. He, too, projected as a top 10 pick. Adam King had a chance to visit with number 17.
I think I came to prove this, to the scouts what I do best, and that's run routes and my ability to get open. I'm a smooth route runner, and then that's what I came to do, to show I transition well in and out of my breaks.
What's it been like for you these past couple of months getting ready for the NFL?
Oh, it's been hectic. Like the first couple of months been just training for the combine, testing, and then after the combine, I'm transitioning to football. So now it's going to be another roller coaster in my journey where I'm just trying to get back into football shape because you don't have too long until after the draft that OTAs right up on you. So I just want to show up to OTAs in the best shape as possible.
Are there any teams that have jumped on you and you talk to a lot?
I pretty much talk to all the teams in the top 10, a few teams outside of the top 10, and then we all talk about football. We do a couple of install meetings, and then just for them getting to feel how I am as a player and as a person.
When you talk to a team, what is it that you sell yourself on why they should draft you?
I think I'll bring all of it to the game for us as a receiver. My ability to get open, my ability to make contested catches, and also I'm a willing blocker. Not every receiver out there is a willing blocker who's willing to put his face in the fire.
All right. I'm sure you've seen that Jackson Smith-Njigba is now the highest paid receiver. When you see stuff like that, former Buckeyes making such an impact, how much does that make you want to go chase that?
Oh, it's always chasing that. Like when you come here, you come here to be a first-round receiver, so we all chase the first-round talent, and then we also all try to go as high as the one that went before us. So we just try to be on the same level with each other, chasing greatness. And then obviously Jay Sand just set the bar high, so that each and every other receiver, especially O State receiver, is going to go try to match it or beat it.
What does this next month look like for you as you get ready for what is now less than a month away for the draft?
So the next month's probably travel around. I got a couple more team visits, and then just ultimately just getting back in football shape, whether it's working out here or working out on the road in the hotel and running in front of the hotel.
Do you know, are you going to go to Pittsburgh?
Oh, yes, I'm definitely going to go to Pittsburgh. Like me and my family talked about it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the fam, so we're going to go.
Well, Bobby Carpenter, Carnell Tate is a guy that we literally watched blow up this past season. Amazing. Is this a kid that the NFL scouts and pros and the teams are licking their chops to get?
From what I've heard, I think Carnell's going to be the first wide receiver taken. You look at what he has, the measurables. He's tall, he's athletic, he's put on weight to his frame, he's over 200 pounds. And so he has all of the things and all of the ingredients that you want to have success. His 40 maybe wasn't the best at the combine, and that's what people maybe questioned a little bit. They talk about some of the time, but then you go back and you watch the tape and you watch him, Carnell, be able to get on top of players, be able to beat guys deep, and then you see his ball skills down the field, some of those acrobatic and circus catches. He's been here for 3 years. You've watched him have success. He's never really been the man, and that's one of the things that people question is, Jeremiah's been there. He's been obviously good. You've had other receivers that have come through here that have been very, very talented. Emeka Egbuka obviously was there with him as a sophomore. But this year, there were games where he led this team in receiving. There were teams where he was the guy that would have to make the big play. So none of those things really concern me.
How about his catching ability? We hear people talk about that. His ability, if the ball's in the air, he went up and made some amazing grabs this past season. Obviously, the talent level's only going to go up higher in the NFL. Is he ready to make that jump, you think? I think he's absolutely ready to make that jump. You look at the Ohio State receivers and when they've gone and transitioned to the NFL, the type of success that they have, and each one of them is their own individual guy. And so you understand that it may not be fully transferable, but the competition that was in that room, the expectations that were in that room, how they went and competed each and every day against each other and then against elite defensive backs, that helped prepare those guys for their ability to have that success at the next level. His catch radius is huge. He competes down the field. So I think people are going to be very happy when they draft Carnell Tate, his ability to make those big plays down the field.
One thing the NFL has learned, never sleep on the Ohio State receivers. From Garrett Wilson to Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr., and now the highest paid receiver in the NFL, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Ohio State is wide receiver U, and NFL coaches are always looking for their next man up. That is Carnell Tate. This year, John Gruden is pretty excited about number 17. He even has a spot in which he should go.
Carnell Tate, I think, to trace this thing and be honest, you got to look at Ryan Day. They throw the ball. They run real routes. This is the place where you want to go. They throw the football. They run crossing routes, double moves. They run an array of different slot combinations. This is where you go to get the training, get the expertise to prepare yourself for this. But Carnell Tate's a pro. He's got 50-50 go-get-it ball skills. He's run after the catch is very good. He's smart. He's versatile. Cleveland Browns. Let's go get this guy, man.
From offense to defense, and there is no more coach on the field than Caleb Downs. He'll go down as one of the best safeties in Ohio State history, not just for his play on the field, but leadership off of it. One of the greatest football IQ guys in this draft, and without question, the best safety this year. Many have him as a top 10 projected pick, and just look at how he tackles. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Dom Tiberi caught up with Caleb Downs and his coach, Tim Walton, to talk about what makes him so elite.
And Coach Patricia, and I know Coach Walton for a long time, they're like proud papas, and there's I don't think the smiles could be any bigger watching you guys out there, and they're saying 5 of you guys are going to be first-round picks, you included.
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor to be in that group, and all of us are so tight and tight-knit, so it's a great opportunity to be with my brothers and have a chance to go at this next level with them. And a lot of the development that we've had has been from the men that have poured into us here, so it's a great opportunity for us.
Timmy, I know you bleed scarlet and gray. What was this day like for you and seeing your guy out there?
Well, it was good. You know, you get a chance to see him move around, efficient, smooth. They just want to see him move. He did a great job with that, but he does that in everything. You know what I mean? Showing how he can come out of break, change direction, high point the ball in the deep part of the field, short area quickness, change of direction. So he was able to go out and show that and display that for the guys that came to see him today.
Obviously, you coached in the league. It's one thing to recruit great talent. It's another thing to develop these guys, and he's a junior. I mean, what do you say about the way you develop players here at Ohio State?
Well, it's the players, you know what I mean? I just try to implement the stuff that I know, but, you know, it comes with recruiting. You know, you get great players like that, like Caleb, that come around, so it makes it easy. And, you know, he has the pedigree, he has the background, he has the knowledge, he has the work ethic. So I just add a little bit of the wisdom that I have with some of the stuff, but it's in them. You know, it's recruiting the right guys. So when you get to the NFL, he's a plug-and-play type guy.
I know you're a proud Buckeye. The way that they develop here, I mean, how important was that to you in your career? And that you could have gone a lot of places, but you chose to come here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing has always been learning. That was something that I told him about at high school. I was like, I want to learn to play. I want to be developed at a high level. So when I had the opportunity to come here and make that decision, it was a no-brainer. It was a great opportunity for me to learn more about football. And that went from Knowles to Coach Patricia, and Coach Walton and Coach G have been there for me the whole time. So it's a great opportunity.
What are you going to miss the most?
I'd just say game days in the shoe.
Will you come back often as you can?
I'm here right now for the next month, so yeah. Columbus, I like Columbus. It's a great spot for me.
All right, well, we'll do it, end it the way we always do. Look at that camera, your message for Buckeye Nation.
Yeah, I probably heard it too many times. For me, Jesus Christ loves you, though. That's the biggest thing.
Carpenter, when I think of a guy with football IQ, I think of Ohio State safety Caleb Downs. Now, maybe some say maybe he's a little undersized for the NFL. How do you see him in the NFL? Where do you see him playing?
Well, you'd love to have every one of your safeties be 6'1" or 6'2", but that's not the reality of how people are made. But you look at his ability to play the football down the field, come up in the box and play the run, playing man-to-man, direct traffic on the back end of that defense, understanding route combinations and being able to work through coverages. He checks all the boxes. He's a coach's dream, and Matt Patricia raved about him when he was here, and there's a reason why, because of how effective he was. And frankly, Dom, I looked in 2 years, I think he may have only missed 1 or 2 open field tackles, and for a safety, that's almost unheard of.
Is there, will size hurt him, do you think?
I don't think size is going to really impact him all that much. He is what he is. He's just a shade under 6 feet tall. And it was interesting, there was a former NFLer that came through, probably going to be a Hall of Famer, that came through with his son in recruiting a couple weeks ago, and Eric Weddle. And Eric's a guy who came out a year behind me, played 14 years in the NFL, all-pro, team of the decade, unbelievable player. He's 5'11 and a half. Great tackler, smart as a whip, has great speed, always on the football, and he reminds me a lot. There's a lot of correlations between those two guys, including that they're awesome people to be around. Let's talk about what an NFL team's going to get when they take Caleb Downs. Matt Patricia said he was basically a coach on the field, that his football IQ is that good. So him and Sonny Styles used to communicate constantly, and you can watch Caleb during the games. He would see formations, he would be able to identify it, and knew almost exactly where the ball was going. And because of that, that allowed them to be very aggressive. And then his tackling prowess. It's one thing, Dom, recognizing it. It's another thing getting there with speed and agility. And then the final piece of that is being able to convert that on the tackle. And so he was incredibly smart to be able to communicate with the linebackers, communicate with the corners, make sure everybody was always on the same page. And then once he got there with bad intentions.
Defensive lineman Kayden McDonald is another guy that had a breakout year for Ohio State. He's recognized as the premier run stopper in this year's draft. Don't let his size fool you. 6'2", 326 pounds. This guy has incredible feet and can really move. He's projected as a mid to late first-round pick. Adam King had a chance to talk to Kaden while he was attending the NFL Combine.
Kaden, you are here at the NFL Combine. Is this a lifelong dream that you get to live out right now?
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a lifelong dream. You know, I've been working for this moment my whole life, and just everything, the trials and tribulations I went through got me to this moment, and being at Ohio State helped me a lot.
How did Ohio State help? How did Matt Patricia help maybe get you ready? He has done this NFL shindig before.
Just really having Matt Patricia, you know, being that pro player, and just really just taking it all in, following the program, the standard, being a pro every day, working on the little things and being disciplined and being accountable, and that's what really helped me.
When you think about your NFL career, what makes you a first-round talent?
I'll say I'm powerful. You know, I have a high motor. I'm consistent, really consistent, and I'm really competitive. You know, I'm a leader. I lead by example, and I do things people that don't see on TV, and I do it at a high level, like working on myself off the field, is really doing what I got to do.
How special is it for you to be going through all of this?
It's a real moment. It's like my career. Let's say, like, I play the game, so it just feels like that, and just really just being a kid and just like enjoying this process with all my peers and just being happy, you know.
Do you remind yourself to take in and enjoy what is the next 2 months as you get set for the NFL draft?
Oh yeah, just really just take it in, just being joyful, and whatever's gonna happen, because Coach Patricia always says it is what it is. So I know it's when April comes, a team that wants me, because all it takes is one team to trust me, and just really just taking it all in and being happy.
Well, Bobby Carpenter, another guy that kind of burst onto the scene last season, talk about defensive lineman Kayden McDonald, and man, he's young and he's athletic.
Kayden is young, and I don't think people thought that he would be leaving quite this soon. I didn't. I thought, hey, this guy's going to come in, had a great junior season, have one more year to develop and continue to get better. But the reality is the NFL already loves him so much by his film. On Matt Patricia's defense, they did a lot of moving around, some even fronts, some 4 down. Then they went with some odd fronts where he was playing a pure nose tackle over top of the center. And so showing some of that versatility, showing his strength, showing his athleticism and agility is something that is unparalleled. I don't think people thought he would be as good as he was early, but you see the strength, the technique, the leverage that he plays with. And by the way, he's also, for being a big guy, he can run pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, he put on a show at Pro Day. What does he do best in his feet? I mean, people talk about his feet. I mean, he's quick.
For being a big guy, he does an unbelievable job of controlling the center and being able to play his gap. You see that athleticism up there. Not only is he 330 pounds, but he's somebody who has great footwork. He can move. It helps keep him in position. He has great hand placement. And so for being able to play the run on the inside of any defense, whether it's a 3-down look or a 4-down look, he's somebody that's going to be able to do that and do it at a really high level.
What do you see him playing in the NFL? Nose tackle?
I think he's probably going to be a nose tackle. People will probably want to play him head up as much as possible. You can play him in an even front, and he's done that, and he's had success with it. He can move around a little bit, but I love it when you see him on the center and being able to just steer that guy and steer him right to the ball carrier.
What is what would be any apprehension that the NFL scouts might have about him? Just his youth?
Well, I mean, a little bit of his youth. I mean, could he be taller? Sure. I mean, he's probably about 6'2". Do you want that guy to be maybe 6'4"? Probably 6'5". Great. But you can't get everything with every guy, and it's a pretty light defensive tackle draft. So if somebody wants to take a defensive tackle high, Kayden McDonald is probably your guy. He's probably falling between picks 20 and 40. I think he ultimately goes in the first round, but it's going to be close.
He's another guy that has a lot of confidence, and talking to him at Pro Day, you know, he wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants to go in the Hall of Fame. Those are great aspirations.
Oh, it's great to have goals, and Kayden is a guy who's worked at all this. He's developed himself. He had to sit behind guys With you look at the Ty Leak and Ty Hamilton that were here the year before. So once he got his chance, got his opportunity to get in there, he was going to be ready to go, and you see that confidence displayed each and every play.
All right, where do you see him going? Who might take him?
Some teams near the end of the first round. It always gets a little squirrely down there because there's always trades that happen. There's different stuff that goes on. And so it's really tough to predict. I think he'll probably go somewhere, though, in that 20 to 40 range, and hopefully it's in that top 32.
But you see him as a first-round pick right now.
I think that he'll end up being a first-round pick, because he's a very talented player, but also because they're pretty light at defensive tackle in the draft. So I'm not sure if you pass on him. There's a lot of edge guys, but there's not a lot of interior guys.
And last thing, he's another good citizen in the room, and he's got a great sense of humor. But this guy is the guy who you would want to be a teammate with.
Absolutely, he's a fun guy. Very serious, but he can also laugh and have a good time. I've really enjoyed him coming up here from Georgia. His experience here was great, and he's been one of my favorites in watching him grow and develop.
One of the greatest benefits for all these Buckeye defenders is their coach, Matt Patricia, a former NFL head coach, defensive coordinator, and he knows everything that teams are looking for and talking about in these meeting rooms. He's been walking the guys through the process throughout these past few months, and while the guys credit Matt Patricia for their success, he is the first to tell NFL scouts how talented all of the players are. Dom Tiberi got a chance to catch up with Matt Patricia.
More than the pro day on the field, the other thing that is happening right now behind the scenes is the interviews. So the coaches from the NFL teams are coming in, they're spending some real classroom time with our guys, and they're being able to learn how intelligent they are and how much they know the game. So you just kind of walk around with a big smile on your face and just so excited for them and so proud of the hard work that they're doing right now to get ready for that next step and excited for that journey.
How about the job that you, Coach Day, and just all the coaches do? I mean, it seems to me if you want to play in the NFL, and you got a lot of years in it, this is the place to come. It's got to be a heck of a recruiting tool, isn't it?
Well, it starts with Coach Day. I mean, the culture is unbelievable. It's second to none in the way that he just pours into our guys, and it is about development. That's what we're about. That's what he's about, and that's easy for me to fall in line with and make sure that we're doing everything we can to get our guys developed, ready to go to that next level. And like I like to tell them, look, a lot of these guys, they're 6'5", 300. They're going to get to the NFL. It's how do you stay in the NFL? And I think that's what, Coach Day does such a great job of just making sure they understand this is a process, this is what we're doing, this is how we develop, and this is how we help you in the future. 17 guys worked out. 5 of them, they say, are going to be first-round picks. That's the way you see it? Well, I mean, I hope so. I hope all of them, get first-round picks. And really, in the end, it's just what they do when they get there, and that's really what's important is we're preparing them to get there and to do well. You think about the Ohio State signature and everything, and, you saw it from the other end, but as you now experience this, I mean, what are you most proud of, you think? I always just love the feedback that you get from the guys in the NFL, and I think, over the last month or so, what's been just, that proud papa moment is where everyone's like, man, your guys are doing a really good job in the classroom, or, we see they're ready to go, or they're just so far ahead of everybody else as far as getting ready to join the NFL, and that's really all you want, right? Just give them a chance, give them the tools, everything you can to hopefully give them a chance to go do what they need to do at that next level. And that's the part that you just hope as a, as a coach, as a parent, whatever that is, that you just hope you give those guys a chance. All right, last thing from the critical eye as an NFL coach, what did you see out of your guys, the defense, Carnell and Arvell? And those, and my goodness, Arvell, holy smokes, he certainly passes the look test, doesn't he? Yeah, it's no surprise to us that see him every single day. For sure we know what he can do, and we've seen him do all those things in practice. And sometimes you don't really see all the highlights in the game. That doesn't happen and it doesn't manifest itself. But when you get these opportunities and you get all those guys kind of very individualized and specific to what you need them to see, and then you see it, the eyes light up and you kind of like, wow, he can do all that, when we've seen it, probably for the last 8 months.
Well, for more on the Buckeyes that aren't going to hear their name called in the first round, I am joined now by former Buckeye Justin Zwick. So, Jay-Z, let's get right into it. Of course, we've talked a lot about those guys who are going to be picked in that first round of the draft, but we have a lot of Buckeyes who are going to make some noise in the NFL lower down the totem pole. I want to ask you, 1 or 2 guys that you think are kind of sleeper picks that are going to do really well at the next level?
Oh goodness, a lot of good players coming out in this draft. Again, we lose a lot of players from our program, but looking forward to see them. And I think a couple guys that are going to do better than what maybe people are projecting them to. Maybe not even projecting them to, but they're going to have some good careers, long careers. They're going to stick on a team. IGB, love him. Tall, fast, came back for his senior year. 52 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 2 interceptions in the biggest games of the years, against Michigan and Indiana in the Big Ten Championship. So he came back. He got rid of those pass interference penalties that he was dreaded with his junior year. Worked on that in the offseason. He is tall, fast, and lanky, and he is a good DB. I think a team is really going to like him. He's going to have to get on special teams and do all that, but he can do that. And he showed us last year coming into his senior year that I'm going to come up and hit. I'm going to be somebody on the edge that I can come make a tackle on a running back, or you can trust me to make that tackle for you. So I think he's earned himself a lot of money and a lot of respect going into the league, as a rookie.
I like that pick. I also just love how chippy his energy. I think he's going to bring a lot of spice to a team, so I like that pick. I would probably go with Kayden Curry. He's been a guy who has really waited his turn at Ohio State, and I was waiting for his breakout season, and I feel like he had it this year. I think he led the team with 11 sacks. He's physical out there. I just think nobody's really talking about him. I got to talk to him at the Combine, and he had a lot of great things to say, and he's just excited to kind of show his skills at the next level. So I think whatever team grabs him is not only going to get a physical guy, but they're going to get a leader, a guy that can lead a locker room, kind of a younger dude that could walk in there, and the older guys could look at him and say, hey, this guy's gonna do something down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree with that. Breakout year, his last year. Not that he didn't have a good year before, but came as a senior, breakout year. And the thing about the NFL is they see Matt Patricia and what he was able to do with Kayden Curry and the production he was able to get out of him, and they're all saying, well, we trust that guy. We know he knows his defense. Maybe we bring this kid on here and give us a shot. Another thing on Kayden, 280-some snaps of special teams.
Yep.
That is huge going into the NFL when maybe you're a 3rd, 4th round guy, a little undersized, maybe you're going to be clawing and fighting for everything that you have. If you can go play special teams, NFL teams love that, and he has plenty of that experience here at Ohio State, so I think that's going to just help him as he goes on his journey.
All right, so Jay-Z, real quick offensively, because we've talked about 2 defensive guys. You've got Max Clare, Will Kazmarek, C.J. Donaldson. Who sticks out to you from those guys in terms of who could make some noise?
That's a tough one. I got to go with Will Kazmarek here.
Yeah, I like that one.
I really think he grew so much as a blocker and as a pass receiver. I mean, you look at his stats coming out of the Combine or the senior year, he can get to all levels. And maybe you don't look at him and say he's going to burn it down the field, but he can get there and he can be somebody that you can put in and leave in on 3 downs. You don't know if we're going to run the ball or throw the ball when he's in the game, but he can go and do something, in the secondary and get separation from the safeties that are on him. So I think he could have a chance at having, a long career because, everybody loves a good blocking tight end. And if you can do that and you can be serviceable on other things, you can have a long career.
His blocking ability is insane.
It
I remember
awesome.
I'd watch tape on him, and I'm like, that dude, he's
different.
different.
That's the thing. I would go with Max Clare, but it's just like when he got here, I think he just realized, like, this is a little bit different than what I've been used to. And, in the NFL, it's so, like, he can go run routes, and he's going to catch it, and he's really athletic, but he's kind of suspect when you put him on that line to block, so that's going to be the little knock there. But you can get better at blocking. Practice makes perfect.
No, exactly. And I will say something on Max Clare. I feel like Buckeye fans really didn't get to see his full potential. I think we saw sparks of that at Purdue when he was there, but I think he also will be very talented at the next level. But I got to go with C.J. Donaldson. What really stuck with me, I talked to him at Pro Day, and he said he's like a Swiss Army knife. And I loved how he said that because covering him all season long, I called him the red zone reliable running back because they'd throw him in, he'd punch it in for 6. He's the kind of guy, he's physical, he's built like a running back. And again, nobody's really talked about him a whole lot this draft and kind of leading up to obviously heading over there in Pittsburgh. But I think any team who snags this guy, he's going to get someone who's super energetic, passionate, physical, and like a Swiss Army knife. He said, I got a lot under my sleeve, and I love that.
He's got a lot of experience. He played a ton before he came to Ohio State. He's a big back. He's tall. Upper body wise, he's jacked. I think he's got to learn to run with lower pads, maybe on those goal line situations, especially when you go into the NFL. But yeah, ton of experience, a mature guy, can do a little bit of everything. We kind of relied on him for that aspect, but he's capable of much more.
Well, like we've said, there is a world where 4 Buckeyes could be off the board in the top 10, which is insane. We've got 11 Buckeyes in total heading to Pittsburgh, of course, wanting to hear their name called come the NFL draft. I said it earlier, Kayden Curry is the guy that I think is going to make a lot of noise at the next level. I got to talk to him earlier at the NFL Combine. Obviously, Buckeyes in your position group, guys like Jack Sawyer, JT, they've been through this process. Have you reached out to them with some tips on how to handle all of this?
Yeah, I mean, Jack and JT are also my friends for life, so being able to hang out with them and just talk to them on FaceTime or however I can get a hold of them is definitely just one way that they've always told me just to be myself out here. I mean, they know we're just such great people together, and that if we're just ourselves, that's all that we can ask for, and we hope teams love about us.
A guy like Matt Patricia has so much experience in the NFL. How much have you leaned on his experience during this process for you?
Yeah, Coach Patricia is just definitely somebody I'm sad that I only had 1 year with, because he was such a great guy just from the first day that I met him. I mean, just getting to know his whole story is somebody that I'm just so much blessed to have in my life, because he's just taught me so much in a short amount of time. And obviously he has done this before in so many different ways. So I got as many Zoom calls as I could get with him, and I can't wait to get back with him on Monday just to chop it up some more. And just talking with Coach Patricia, he's helped me out so much in this process.
You led the Buckeyes in total sacks this year. Why should an NFL team want you?
I'm a football player. I mean, I'm more than just a defensive end. I can really do whatever you want. I did special teams, I did defensive end, and I'm just a relentless guy that's always going to be around the ball, because good things happen when you run to the ball. And I'm just such a great competitive atmosphere and a great mindset, and I'm ready to play.
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure during this entire process, but when you get to the draft in Pittsburgh in April, what is that going to feel like when you hear your name called and you know where you're landed?
It's going to be a dream come true for me. Obviously, since I could walk, I've been playing football, and I've always dreamed of this moment, and just to be surrounded by my family and the people that I love, just to be able to see it for me, and my brothers, obviously, that have pushed me this hard and get to this way. It's going to be such a dream come true. That's why you go to Ohio State. That's why you want to be in this moment, and that's why you go to that great city of Columbus, to be iron sharpens iron mentality, and to go up against the best from the beginning, and just to prep yourself and to get your mindset physically, mentally, and athletically. Just be ready for this moment, and just be blessed to be here.
So those 5 guys, in my opinion, look to be first-round picks. I'm going to go not out on a limb. I think this is pretty much what everyone thinks. I think Arvell Reese will probably be the first player taken, top 5 pick. I'm not sure who's going to take him. I want to see the Cleveland Browns and Bengals take these Buckeyes, but he looks to be a top 5 pick.
He certainly does. It looks like he's going to go to the Jets at 2. They took a lot of interest in him throughout the process. He was very open and honest about that. Some have him sliding to 3, but Arvell Reese is just such a talent that you cannot let him fall too much. You talk about the Bengals and Browns. This is the one draft. They need higher draft picks if they're going to get a Buckeye in all of this. But certainly I think you're right. Arvell's the first off the board.
And you never know. I mean, we're guessing, and obviously, you see guys go there every year. The next guy, if I had to pick a guy, what Sonny Styles did at the NFL Combine was absolutely amazing. The athleticism he showed. And we're talking about a guy that, came into Ohio State as a safety, then became a linebacker, and he is a monster of a man. But more importantly, he's the character guy you want in the room. I'm a huge fan of this guy.
He's only been playing the position for 2 years. I mean, think about how well this is going to pan out for an NFL team that gets to develop him even more. I really liked how much John Harbaugh talked to him at Pro Day. There was a lot of interest there. I think it fits for that scheme. I think Sonny Styles could go 5th to the New York Giants, and I think that would be great for him. I think that's crazy to say, rightfully deserved, but Sonny Styles is a top 5 pick. It sounds amazing to see how far he's grown here, Dom.
All right, in my opinion, the next one could be a coin flip. I love Caleb Downs. This guy is, in my opinion, the premier safety in this draft. He is the premier tackler in this draft. But I don't know that they put such a high priority in the NFL on the safety position. They love their receivers. The linebacker, the running backs have kind of diminished in the league. This is wide receiver is everything. And that's why if I had to really, really guess, I think it'll be Carnell Tate, the next to go. And I think this guy, everything you read, he is the next NFL-ready receiver to come out of Ohio State. Receiver U. I love this guy. He's dealt with tragedy through his life. He's losing his mother. I'm a big fan of Carnell Tate, and I think he's going to be the next star at the next level. Whoever gets him is going to get a great player.
I think you're spot on there. I think John Gruden may know something or two about football because he said Carnell Tate to the Cleveland Browns, and I think I
would love that.
That's what you've got to have. If you're Cleveland, that's an amazing offensive weapon to add. It's a great wide receiver 2 to start with, and then builds up. You never know with a lot of these Ohio State guys. I don't think you would have said Jackson Smith-Njigba would be who he is when he was drafted. Now he's the premier star in the NFL, the highest paid receiver. So when you look at all of that, I think the Browns, you just got to take the chance there. You need the offensive firepower. What a great thing to keep him in Ohio and send him to the Cleveland Browns. But you're right, Dom. They do talk about Carnell Tate as one of the most NFL-ready receivers we've seen in a long time.
And he is. And you saw what he did this past season.
Mm-hmm.
He was not second fiddle to Jeremiah Smith. He went head-to-head. And he found ways to get open, some of those incredible grabs. I go back to that grab he made in the Wisconsin game.
Amazing.
Just an amazing grab. And I'll tell you what, if the Browns are going to go with Deshaun Watson like we're hearing, I'll tell you what, if I'm Deshaun,
that's a whole other show.
Well, I know that, but if I'm Deshaun Watson, I would want to play catch with a guy like Carnell Tate. And then the following year, Jeremiah Smith, bring them back together. All right. I then think the next one will be Caleb Downs.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you what, folks, I love this kid. He was not only a great player on the field, he was a great coach on the field. This guy made everyone around him better. This guy, when guys were starting to lose their cool, he was the guy that calmed them down. Caleb Downs is a man that talks the talk, but he walks the walk too. Whoever gets him is going to get a great, great football player. A guy of great character, but I'll tell you the other thing they're going to get. He is the best tackler I can remember seeing, and I don't know how long. This guy, they should write books about the way he does it the right way.
He does. He
raps, baby.
It's unbelievable. His missed tackle percentage, how low it is. He is always in the right spot. He doesn't get always the glamorous talk that a lot of people do with safeties. He's not an Ed Reed. He's not going to go out there and make the massive highlight tackles, but he's going to make the routine tackles routinely, and those are what can win teams games. There's an argument to be made. Ohio State doesn't beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl 2 years ago, if not for Caleb Downs with some big tackles that don't make the highlight reel, but definitely change the game. I actually like the idea, and I think there's a world where this happens, where he ends up going to the Washington Commanders at 7. So then you have Sonny, Carnell, and Caleb all taken one after the other after the other.
And I do agree with what you're saying with one exception. They're not routine. When they are open field tackles and
true.
It's mano-a-mano.
That's true.
I'll tell you what, that's not routine.
That's fair.
That is specialty. And the fact that he never, I think he maybe had 2 missed tackles.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
He played so well in that game against Miami, Dom.
When you're out there on an island by yourself, I tell you what, those weren't routine. Those were spectacular. And the NFL's licking their chops when you get a guy like that. The last guy then is Kayden McDonald, and this guy's a baby. He even told me, he said, I'm a young guy. My best days, I'm just starting to come into my own. This guy not only passes the look test, he is a big, big man, and he's wide, and he's going to take up a lot of space. But watching his feet at Pro Day the other day and watching the NFL scouts watching this guy, the way he was able to move, this guy is going to be a star in the NFL because he takes up space, and he is probably, if you look at the draft stock and everything, he's considered the premier run stopper in this draft. And defensive tackles that can do that, he'll probably play nose guard in the NFL. He flourished under Matt Patricia. And that's why I think they're going to chop that. They got him listed as a late first or mid. I think he's probably going to be a mid because I think his best days are ahead of him. As I said, he's just a kid. But the football IQ he showed under Matt Patricia, and Patricia loves this guy. And we're talking about, in my opinion, and Matt Patricia, the premier defensive coordinator to come out of the NFL. What he says speaks volumes. And, I look at his videos that he's doing now with Bill Belichick and the football. I mean, Kayden McDonald passes the test on all that stuff that he and Bill Belichick talk about in the coach videos.
I think it's really interesting because Kayden McDonald, much like we talked about with Sonny Styles, still has so much room to grow.
Oh, he's a kid.
He has one season as a starter at Ohio State. He turned that one season into an All-American, into the, as you said, premier run stopper in college football. His questions, he has more of a range when you look at the mock drafts out there and what teams need. It's not necessarily going to be locked in. I do like one spot where I looked at like maybe 18. He goes to the Minnesota Vikings. Either way, I think whoever takes Kayden McDonald is going to get an amazing defensive lineman, but more so an amazing workhorse. He absolutely puts in the work. There's not a coach at Ohio State that won't tell you how hard Kayden McDonald worked to be as good as he was.
The one thing about Kayden McDonald is he's another good guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a great kid. And, he's got high aspirations. When I talked to him at Pro Day, he said, I want to win a Super Bowl and I want to go in the Hall of Fame. And you know what? Go do it, young man. And he said, and I'm just a kid. I know that. I got a lot to learn. But my goodness, this guy passes it. But you know what? All 5 of these guys we're talking about are character guys. That's a tribute to what Ryan Day has done at Ohio State. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you want to play at the next level, why would you go anywhere other than Ohio State from the standpoint that everywhere, they run this like a pro team. They got NFL coaches coaching them, so it is huge. I think we could see 15 Bucks drafted. That would be the record, right? Tie the record?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there. I think Ohio State surefire should have 5 taken in the first round. I think it's a credit to Matt Patricia. It's a credit to Ryan Day and everything they've built. And I'm sure in a couple years it'll be a credit to Arthur Smith as well. We gave our thoughts here, Dom. Let's send it over to Nicole Sheeran to give her quick thoughts on where she thinks these guys are going to go.
So like we've said, 5 Buckeyes with a chance to hear their name called in the first round. I'm going to give you my picks and where I see each of these guys going. First up, number 8, I think he's going number 2. That is Arvell Reese to the Jets. Listen, New York needs some defense help, and it would be a shame to let Arvell slide. Then I see Caleb Downs going to the Giants at number 5. Now, crazy enough, he'd be the first safety taken in the top 5 since Eric Berry went to the Chiefs in 2010. Now, this next pick, things are shaking up a little bit. Dallas and the Browns both have 2 first-round picks. I think Dallas trades up with Cleveland, and Sonny Styles is about to be a Cowboy at 6. They need defense, and the Cowboys weren't stopping anyone last season, so I think Sonny Styles could very much be their guy. Then Carnell Tate, I see him going to the Commanders at 7, paired with another Buckeye and Scary Terry, and Jaden Daniels would love to be throwing to a guy like Carnell. There's a clear need for younger talent and a dynamic pass catcher, and I really think that screams Carnell Tate. Then last up for me, Kayden McDonald. He's going to the Chargers at 22. They could use a big body on their D-line, and really, they could use some help with that run defense. So will I be right? Who knows? But we'll find out Thursday.
All right, Nicole, thanks a lot. So that's going to do it. Pittsburgh's just over the street. I know we're going over, and we will have the coverage from Pittsburgh. 5 in the first round on Thursday, right?
That's
Thursday. What we're thinking.
That's
Thursday,
what we're locking
5.
in.
And I still think Arvell's won, the first one to go, and then it's going to be Sonny. It's going to be a Buckeye party, I believe.
I think it's absolutely my favorite to look at is Sonny Styles. The growth there is just amazing. Top 5 Sonny Styles would be amazing. That's former 10 TV Athlete of the Week, Dom, Sonny Styles.
Well, think about this, too. Sonny Styles and his brother brought me to Pickerington to do Maria's Message.
That's pretty amazing.
That's the kind of guy, when they were in high school, they had me come do Maria's Message. So 5 Buckeyes in the first round's what we're thinking, and we call them our Buckeyes on Sunday.
That's right.
We're hoping 15 total are taken. And, once again, what a credit to Ryan Day. And you know what? Just a little tidbit for you guys. All the coaches the position coaches, so like Sonny's coach, Matt Patricia, all those guys will be over there because really, folks, what is a better recruiting tool for kids? If you're watching the draft, which everyone will, all these kids that want to play in the NFL will watch the draft. They're going to see Ryan Day, Matt Patricia, Tim Walton, James Laurinaitis, all those guys front and center. that's a great recruiting tool.
You can't ask for anything better. And I think every April, Ohio State gets into one of the first things you see when you walk in the Woody. It's all the jerseys of the first-round picks, and Ohio State's going to get to add quite a few jerseys after this week, Dom.
Developed here.
That's
all
right.
For Nicole Sheeran, this is Adam King. I'm Dom Tiberi. Thanks for watching, and get ready. There's Buckeyes on Sunday on the way.